Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to talk about, do narcissists think about you when you no longer contact them? Do you think they're still going to think about you when you stop contacting them? Well, I'm going to explain what actually happens when you stop contacting a narcissist. Narcissists, understand this, by the time you get to a point where you stop contacting a narcissist, that narcissist already has somebody. Usually when you stop contacting a narcissist, it's when the relationship has gotten so bad. Now you're getting to the point where you're pulling away. You're not getting what you should get from this narcissist. They're playing games with you. And now you're going to pull away from that narcissist. The narcissist is busy with somebody, okay? That's why you got to a point of disgust and pulled away and stopped contacting that narcissist. And the narcissist knows there's going to be a certain point where you're going to have an expiration date, okay? Everybody has an expiration date emotionally, an emotional expiration date with the narcissist. So the narcissists prepare themselves for that, and that's why they always have a backup supply. They always have somebody that they're talking to on the side. Even if they're not physically in a relationship with somebody else, they're still talking to somebody. They're still grooming somebody. They're lining somebody else up, all right? So when you get to the point of no longer contacting the narcissist figures, okay, you're no longer contacting me. Now I'm going to put all my energy into this other supply. That's okay, because I expected this to happen. See, narcissists, they're not stupid in that sense. They know that eventually you're going to either abandon them or, pull back from them, and they're ready for it. And that's when they put all their energy into the other supply that they've been talking to while they were with you, okay? So you want to know, do they ever think about you? Well, yeah, they'll think about you, but only in certain times. And I've talked about this in other podcasts. Narcissists, when they're doing well for themselves, they're out, they're having a good time with other supply or their friends or something. No, they're not going to be thinking about you, okay? But when the narcissist is home alone, all right, and there's nobody else around, and it's, let's say, early morning. I always say narcissists love to check social media out early morning. Like when they first wake up, they're going to be looking on their social media. They're going to be checking their ex's social media to see if they posted anything new, what they're doing. Are they happy? Do they have somebody else in their life? Because narcissists are very curious and they're very nosy, okay? So are they going to think about you? Yeah, there'll be times that narcissist will think about you. They're going to be thinking about you only in their down times or when that narcissist gets bored. That's when they're going to be thinking about you. But see, like I've said before, time and time and time again, the narcissist does not attach to you completely emotionally, okay? There's always a distance. There's always a wall up with a narcissist. They do this to protect themselves. So they're not going to be bawling over you the way you're sitting there crying over them. It's not the same, all right? Because they know how to control their emotions to not fall apart and worry about you. They connected to whatever you had to offer them, your supply. That's what they connected to. That's really what they miss. They might miss the sex with you. They might miss the fact that, you were somebody that had a nice place and they like to come to your place and hang out. They might have missed the fact that you may have gave them money. They may have missed the fact that you gave them attention. Yeah, those are all the things the narcissist will miss, okay? But you as a person, romantically, no, they're not going to miss you in that way, okay? They're going to sit there. They're going to think about all the things that they benefited from when they were with you. That's what they're going to miss. That's what they're going to think about, all right? So understand this. The narcissist, it all depends on what's going on in the narcissist's life. I have said this time in and time out. When a narcissist has a lot of supply, they're not going to be thinking about you so much, all right? And especially when you no longer contact them, because they've got to stay focused on the other supply, because if they start to think about you a lot, it's going to cause them to go into a depression. And this is something a narcissist can't handle. They can't think about going into a depression, feeling that kind of shame, okay? The shame that they lost something, the shame that there was something wrong with them. So this is why a lot of narcissists, they make sure that they have another supply, and they're always posting about how great their relationship is with this other supply to deflect all that shame off them, as if to say, well, hey, look at me. I'm out. I'm with somebody who really loves me. We get along. We have a great relationship. Oh, look at you. You're still sitting there by yourself, okay? Narcissists want to rub it in your face when they have another supply. Even if they're having fights with that other supply, they will never, ever let you know that. They're not going to post that. Generally, they're not going to post that on their social media when they're fighting with the other supply. But you'll know when things are bad with the other supply, because all of a sudden the other supply's picture will no longer be on their social media. This is when all of a sudden on their social media, the other supply, there's no more pictures of them. All right. Trouble in paradise. All right. But narcissists are very careful not to say anything publicly, because they don't want to give you the satisfaction, because they feel that you're watching them, okay? So during no contact, the narcissist is going to be, they're going to be getting busy. They're going to be getting busy as much as they can with all this other supply. They're going to be with the supply they were with while they were with you, because they don't just all of a sudden go looking for supply. I've seen other influencers say this, and I said to myself, they're wrong, okay? They talk about, once you break up or distance yourself from the narcissist, then they go looking for other supply. No, they already had the supply while they were with you, okay? And especially towards the end of the relationship, they had somebody already locked in. They were confident. That's why they were so cold to you. That's why they were devaluing you, because they did have somebody else and they didn't care about you because they're independent. They had somebody else. So they're not going to sweat you. They've got somebody, right? So when you no longer contact them, you get to a point like, you know what? I'm not going to chase after this person. I'm not going to kiss their ass and beg them. All right. They know that you're starting to see through them. And so that's pretty much game over. And they're going to put all their energy onto another supply. But when you no longer contact the narcissist, it is a narcissistic injury. Even though they have other supply, it's still going to be hurting them. They're going to be hurting, okay? Because they don't like to lose, and they don't want to lose supply, and they don't want you to ever think that you're better than them, that you walked away. So in order to save face, they're going to smear you all over town, okay? Smear you all over town, because they're afraid at this point, okay? When you no longer contact them, now they're like, oh shit, they're starting to see through me. Now they might expose me and start telling people that I'm toxic. I have to beat them to the punch and go smear them before they ever expose me. So this is what the narcissist is going to do. They're going to smear you because they're pissed off that you went no contact, okay? Or you're no longer contacting them, all right? How dare you no longer contact the narcissist, the king or the queen? How dare you, in their distorted, delusional minds, okay? In their minds, they feel you should be chasing them till the end of time. They think you should be their slave, okay? This is the truth of the matter. They think you should be their slave, all right? They're sick. They're really sick in the head. So when you no longer contact them and you show your power, like, I'm not chasing after you, I'm not dealing with you, this and that, they're going to be like, okay. And they're going to get busy with the other supply. They're going to smear you, okay? But then they're going to, when they have their downtimes, they are going to be thinking about you, because again, you caused a narcissistic injury. You're not chasing after them. You're no longer contacting them. You're holding your power. So they're going to think about, some of them may think about how they could reel you back in, okay? Because that would be a real high for them, knowing that they could hoover you and re-love bomb you, and you would fall for it. Some people, like I said in my other podcast, they'll fall for that. Not everybody's, but some people will fall for that. But they're going to be thinking about you, you guys, when they're not doing well, okay? Or when they're bored with the other supply. That's when they're going to be thinking about you. During their downtimes, they're going to be thinking about you maybe when they're sick, when, things aren't going well for them. That's when the narcissist is going to be thinking about you and thinking about what they lost, okay? But in general, if their life is just going, they try to block out any feelings of emotions. How do I know that? Because I've actually had narcissists that told me that they block out the feelings, all right? So it's not you. Understand this. You got involved with a demon. And when I say a demon, what I mean is these people have they have no heart, okay? So they're like demonic. They have no Holy Spirit within themselves. They don't, they don't attach the way a normal person attaches to somebody and has their whole, self into the relationship. And then would, if you no longer contact them, they would feel the pain, feel the hurt. They're going to block all that pain and all that hurt. This is what narcissists are so good at, especially the covert narcissist. They're very good at blocking out pain. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about because I have seen this. I have seen this in family. I have seen this in relationships. I know how these covert narcissists work like nobody else, believe me, because I've suffered a lifetime of this. So they know how to block out the pain. They know how to block out the pain and not let it affect them. This is what they do. They don't let it affect them. So you're wanting them to feel the pain that you feel, but unfortunately, they won't allow themselves to feel that pain. They block it out, okay? So the other thing, too, is why do you even care whether they're thinking about you? You should kiss the ground if they don't think about you, because that means your freedom. That means you can move on and be happy with somebody else. That means you don't have chaos in your life anymore. You could be free, okay? Free of them and their toxic behavior. There's nothing worse than a narcissist who keeps coming back and haunting you and not letting you go, okay? So trust me when I tell you, you don't want these people to think about you. That's why you want to be boring as shit so that the narcissist moves on and lets you be and lets you live in peace. You got to be as boring as a gray rock. This is why we say to gray rock them. Don't give them too much information. Be boring as a gray rock. Then the narcissist is going to move on to somebody else. And they'll be torturing somebody else and leaving you alone, okay? The whole goal is to get rid of a toxic person. This person was toxic. Understand this. This person was toxic. This person did you no good in your life. They were not the kind of partner that you were. They were not in it to love you the way you were to love them. This is what you have to understand. If you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, well, do they still miss me? Do they still miss me? Then you're not over that narcissist, okay? And you're not seeing that narcissist for who they really are, okay? Because when you do see the narcissist for who they are, you are not going to want that narcissist to be thinking about you. You're going to want that narcissist to fall off the face of the earth and never bother you again because you want to live in peace, all right? So do they think about you when you no longer contact them? Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't is the short answer to that, okay? They may when they're bored or they're not doing well, and they may not if they're being satisfied or fulfilled by other supply, okay? That's what it is. So narcissists react according to how they're doing on supply. If they have plenty of supply, the narcissist is happy. They're not going to be thinking too much about their old supply. They'll think about their old supply from time to time. They will. But it just won't be, they won't be obsessing about it because they're having their needs met. But when that narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse, okay? When that narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse, that's when the narcissist may think about you because things are not going right and they can't handle it. They'll be spiraling out of control and feeling the loss of the relationship and the loss of the supply that you had to offer them. Okay? That's when the narcissist feels it, you guys. When they're down, that's when they're going to feel it. All right? So don't think that by you no longer contacting the narcissist that all of a sudden they're going to come chasing and breaking your door down. They don't always do that. They get busy with other supply. The only time a narcissist is going to come and break down your wall or break down your door is if you've got a very, very valuable supply. And usually that's a money supply. Something that they can't get somewhere else. You have something that no other supply can give them. That could be an instance where a narcissist will be thinking about you, but they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about the supply that you have to offer them. Maybe you live in a big, beautiful house and they're sitting there crying, thinking about that house that they could have been living in. Maybe you had plenty of money and they're crying, thinking about the money you have and what you could have done for them, buying them things or setting them up in a business. This is what they're going to mourn, okay? Maybe you did everything for them. You made them breakfast. You washed their clothes. You cooked for them. You were there for them. You were their therapist. You were their mommy. You were their daddy. They're going to miss that when they can't replace that. They're going to miss things that they can't replace. That's when they're going to miss things, all right? And that's when they'll start to think about it. They're going to start to think about it when they can't replace it. So narcissists, when you no longer contact the narcissist, you pull back, you take a step back. The narcissist knows it. The narcissist figures you're playing a game with them, that you want them to chase you. And a lot of them won't do it. They don't want to give you, because of their pride, they don't want to give you the satisfaction by, chasing after you. They'll get busy with other supply. And basically, the only time they're going to come back around after you when you pull back and stop contacting them is if they really, really, really need something out of you, okay? That's how it works, you guys. If they really, really need something out of you and they can't get it somewhere else or they're not doing well, like my homegirl used to say all the time when we used to hear from an ex or something, oh, he's not doing well. We used to laugh. Oh, he's not doing well. Just got a text. Oh, he's not doing well. So when they're not doing well, that's when they're going to think about you and the fact that you're no contact or no longer contacting them. So that's what it is. But don't focus in on that. Focus in on yourself and moving forward, and pray that they never come back, okay? Because nothing good comes out of a narcissist coming back into your life. They just wreak havoc on everything, all right? So I hope that helps you. If it does, please hit the subscribe and share the video. If you're looking for confidential one-on-one phone coaching, you don't know if you're dealing with a narcissist, what kind of narcissist it is, you're not sure how to handle them, you need clarity, you need advice, check out that link in the bio at askyaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. Also, check out my YouTube. I have thousands upon thousands of videos on narcissism. Okay, so check it out. I talk a lot about covert narcissists. So if you want to learn what the covert narcissist is, go back and listen to my older podcasts about it, because I really laid it down in my older podcasts, explaining them inside out, like the sick mind games of the covert narcissist. All right. Also, check out My TikTok. You know I'm tired, right? Check out my TikTok at The Game Exposed, and Facebook and Instagram is The Game EXP at 123. And have a great day, you guys.